And we are back to fixing broken cars once again. It's what I do every day. So at least this time it's a Toyota Corolla. So, you know, it's an actual brand that I actually like. It's not a GM or Ford or anything like that typically comes in. But anyways, we're removing the rear subframe or rear axle beam or whatever you want to call it. Really just a giant piece of steel that holds the suspension, if you want to call it that. It got bent. The passenger side wheel was had a ton of camber, like a butt ton of camber. So I don't know who decided, oh, it needs that, because when I looked at it, it didn't look too bad, but I'm sure they hooked it up to the machine or something, and they're like, yeah, this is kind of off. But I'm just disconnecting the connectors here. That was my first thought, and all of this is disconnect all the electrical components that are going to be in the way or that need to be disconnected. And then this actual next part I kept in because I hit my head, and never, if you're a mechanic, you know how this goes. You'll see it right here, bonk, right in that thing hit right in the top of the head. That sucked. I didn't feel good at all. So I decided to raise the vehicle up a little bit because that kind of annoyed me. But I was trying to do this without taking the brake line off here. But it's a solid piece of metal that the hard line goes to a soft line. So I had to disconnect it because my whole thing was I didn't want to have to bleed this afterwards because I'm not getting paid. I wasn't getting paid to bleed it. So, but there was no way around it. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to do that now. So went ahead and took that brake line off, and then we'll go and take the brake caliper and brake rotors off here in a second. I broke this little plastic piece, taking the line out. I don't get tripped up over those anymore. I used to care a lot, but it still holds. It just doesn't clip in, but it also ain't gonna go anywhere at the same time. But yeah, pretty straightforward of a job here, especially on these Corollas, because they're super easy, super simple. Like the design of this, there's no other suspension arms to it. It's just a bar. It's just a bar with wheels, and it works. So I was just loosening up the rear subframe here, just so when I'm ready to take it down, I can let it swing to get the what are those? Oh, the springs. Duh, the springs down easier. But yeah, it's just 4 bolts, the 2 to the struts, and then or shocks, and then the 2 to the body mount there. And then do a little trick where I just spin it out until it pops out, because I'm lazy and I don't like wanting to work too hard on it. This was a little different. I decided to use my impact for it. It wasn't working, so I put my fingers in between it and pushed it out, and then that worked really well. Lower this, take these guys right out. Super easy of a job. And then I'm looking for stuff here. Oh, the spring. That's right, because the other side of the spring just kind of fell out on me. I took the other one out, and I wasn't thinking about it. I was just letting it come down while I was working on one side, and I totally wasn't even thinking about the other side, so it just fell out, so I had to grab it. But, it is what it is. I put it back up just to make sure I had the right orientation of it for when I put it back in, or when I was setting it to the side, because I like to just grab stuff and stick it in, not have to think about it that much. And yeah, it was good. So we're fine there. That's a win. And then this, I was decided to take, because I had to swap over the knuckles, I guess, if you could call. I would assume these are called knuckles. Just the same. I don't know, or hubs. Maybe they're just hubs. They're not really knuckles because it's all part of the axle beam there, rear subframe. Like I said, I'm gonna call it 2 different things because that's just me, I guess. I don't know. But as I'm getting this new one in here, I would like to say that the sponsor of this video is myself. I actually do have a website. If you go over to Shogun Automotive in the description below, and pick yourself up a couple t-shirts, maybe be super helpful. Or if you live close and want to help me with some side work, that'd be great too. But moving on, we're just putting everything back together here. As you can tell, I like to have everything on me hands-free. The light, the camera, I have like 2-3 different things mounted to my head when I'm doing work like this. I don't like to have stuff in my hands. The only, if I could, I would make a magnet stick to my head, like a magnet with a stick, and just extend it and use my head to pick stuff up all day. This was sketchy. So I was trying to put this in, and I actually show it right here where I think this is the part where it falls on me. Yeah, because the wood kept moving. I couldn't get a good grip on it, and it ended up slipping. Yep, there goes the spring. So reset. I had to try this a couple times. This was actually a bit of a headache. And then not only that, when I finally got it on right here, I think I started lifting it up. Yeah, right here. And you maybe can see it in camera, but I end up lifting the whole car. It's hard to tell. Pretty sure right there. Yeah, because I was like, whoops. I started lifting the whole rear end of the car out on the lift, and then I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. And then for some reason I thought I was He-Man, thinking I could just push on that, but that didn't work. This was a lot of trial and error for me, because I was like, oh, in my head I was like, oh, I'll just get a 2x4 and compress it from the sides on both ends. It should be fine. And then it wasn't working, so I thought of this. So I was like, well, I'll use that just to hold it up, and I'll get the transmission jack all the way to a point to where it's holding it but not going to lift it, and then use the transmission jack, this one right here, to push up on the side to see if it would just get it up enough to get a bolt through the shock there, which did work. I don't think I lifted the vehicle with this. I think I put it like right where it is, right here where I was able to get the bolt through. And I think that was right when it was just starting to kind of start to lift a little bit. So I was like, all right, cool. It got stuck here. That gave me a lot of concern, but luckily it was fairly easy to not be stuck, or I guess get it unstuck. But the rest of this job, super simple. Like I said, it's 4 bolts. I'm just tightening everything up at this point. And then hooking everything back together. I do show the rest of everything that is being hooked back up. Don't mind my messy toolbox. I don't make nearly enough in this industry to justify buying, like, more stuff. But everything, I'm just hooking everything else up at this point here. Getting the hubs tight, the shocks tight, the subframe tight, the hell with torque specs. I mean, some people care about it. I don't. I never did. I just always used a longer ratchet that had, the leverage, and I pretty much base my torque off of that, like the degrees of, I guess, how much you can turn it. I do use a torque wrench for like very important stuff though, like head studs and crank bolts and stuff like that. But I really only use a torque wrench when I'm doing anything like engine building or transmission building or differentials, because then that's when like tolerances and stuff like that actually matters. So the proper torque spec makes sense. But on like subframes and stuff like that, just ugga it, just send it, just make sure it's good and tight. But this is pretty much the end of the video here. I'm I'm just looking like, well, making sure that it goes on this way. This is where I show too, where I'm like, I broke this little connector, and I'm just like, oh, whatever. And then hook up that line. I was like, it's gonna sit there. It's not gonna go anywhere. Tighten that back up and everything like that. And then I plugged in all the connectors here and everything like that. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Like I said, I bleed the brake system at the end of this, but off camera. But I do show what I do use. But you know, with everything being said there, if you guys had any questions or was, I don't know, curious about this or anything like that, just let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and then, you know, share these videos with your friends, or go watch some of my other videos. I do a bunch of stuff other than just this. As of late, it's been more of this, but at some point we're gonna go back to doing race car stuff again, like we used to do here on the channel. But yeah, with that being said, the brake bleeding procedure that I use here for this is, there's a couple ways you could do it. You can, you know, have somebody sit inside the vehicle, push on the brakes for you while you turn the brake bleeder on each of the calipers, or I have a little like air. You just hook it up to air. It's got a hose. It sucks it out. They're fairly inexpensive too on Amazon. So I think I got mine for like, I don't know, $40 or something like that. And it works great. And yeah, we're all done there. So I will see you guys all in the next video. Have a good rest of the day and week, and bye-bye.